old Nintendo gamer.
And son.
So I'll carry on, and I've had a weird week as well where I've been dipping in and out of many little games, finishing a few off. My son is now off school because of Chinese New Year holidays, winter vacation over here. So I finished the Hong Kong Massacre, which I wrote a review, and basically my thoughts haven't really changed about it. It is still that 7 out of 10 that I gave it. There were a couple more niggles, things which didn't really influence my overall enjoyment, because I did enjoy it, but some of the glitches, when you jump in between buildings, I think I mentioned it before, sometimes if you jump a tiny bit too early, you'll end up on a platform outside of the wall that you meant to jump over to get to the other side of the between the two buildings. So you're basically on this little platform with a drop to the alley, and then you're stuck there and you can't do anything. There's just too many of those little glitches to make it, and especially on the last boss. The last boss is one section where you've got to dive over a building while shooting the last boss as well. You've got to shoot the boss about 20 times. One shot for you, you're dead. And it adds in, the last kind of 4 levels, adds in these enemies that have body vests on, so they take 2 shots rather than 1. So it does get considerably more difficult, and it is a difficult game. But frustrating, yes, but enjoyable as well. And I persevered, and I did get my enjoyment out of it. Something else I did play, I wanted to play this a little bit more, was Dead Cells, because it was on that free Nintendo trial. I put 40 minutes into it, and I liked it a lot. It just clicked with me. The minute I started playing with it, he felt a bit floaty, but that lost that kind of floatiness immediately. And the way the combat goes with the, like for example, you have the X button, a Y button to attack with your sword. You can actually change the button that you put them on. You can assign it whichever weapon you want to, whichever one. And then you get a little bit further along and it says, do you want to pick up a bow and arrow or a shield? And these are quite weak ones at the beginning. So start with the shield. So I got a shield to block. And it doesn't tell you how to dodge roll, but by pressing the A button, then you can dodge roll as well. And by linking these dodge rolls and hits and time, just looking at the show and tells of the enemies, and every single enemy's got their little tell. I'm just about to hit you. I'm just about to hit you. You better dodge or get out of the way or hit me, or kill me before I enact my attack. It felt really, really good. The actual jumping, once you got used to that kind of low height double jump, which is, I thought that the double jump would be more sufficient, but he makes up for it in the way he kind of grabs ledges. So you just need to be near a ledge and he'll pull himself up. But the mechanics of battling, and I can see the potential in all the kind of things that it's going to open in the future with all the dead cells, basically the dead enemies you collect their cells, these blue things. Not every one of them drops; they drop sporadically. You then use those to upgrade your abilities, and you've got a plethora of things you can upgrade, from your weapons, your shields, your long-range attacks. You can, as you progress in the game, you've got these scrolls which can temporarily buff yourself up as well. You've got items you can purchase, like health pots, and then you can spend souls to buff those up as well permanently. So every single run you are gaining something and then spending those souls after you die to slowly build up. It is that roguelike mechanic, and I can see a lot of potential in this. I did really, really like it. Greg, you might have another take on it though.
I couldn't be arsed, quite frankly. I wasn't even going to download the demo, but I went for it anyway, just because I thought, right, it's the trial ends in a couple of days, so I'll see what the fuss is about. And I'd already seen, like, on the forum that there had been a couple of people that said the movie wasn't as good as they were expecting it to be, and I wasn't really expecting much from it anyway, and I didn't play it for that long, but it didn't really draw me in at all. Like, ran about it for a bit, and it felt kind of like in some way sort of like a Castlevania type of game, the way the map goes and stuff. And it's like, I felt like I played that sort of game like so much in the past, and just knowing that like it was going to be like randomly generated, and I was just going to be going through for bits to eventually upgrade bits just to go through stuff again. It's like, ultimately, I don't think I could be bothered with it. It didn't really sell me. Like, the enemies that they sort of seen at the start weren't really like interesting, I didn't think. Like the design and stuff wasn't really working for me. Went for a wee bit and realised a double jump wasn't going to get me up, and there was some like green jelly or something to tickle.
And there's this other thing, like a genie lamp or whatever, but it's human size that you can rub and it gives off static electricity. It's like, okay, of course I got to upgrade myself before I can utilise those at a later date.
Yeah, because I wasn't really sure what the tickling bit was, and I thought, I'm bound to have to go up here, and then I went back a wee bit through a teleport, and then seen that there's another way down, so went that way, and like wasn't really like taking care or anything, so like I died a wee bit further on down, and I was like, right, I've played enough. I'm not sold on it. I didn't think I would really like it anyway, so I haven't really lost it, but at least I've tried it now, and I know that I don't really need to investigate it further.
I was the opposite. It instantly kind of hit me as a very, very solid platformer. So if it ever comes down in a sale, that's another potential buy for me now. Damn demos, maybe I shouldn't have played it. And I've also played a lot of Monster Hunter Rise. I'm not going to go into that. I've also played and finished the first DLC pack for Borderlands 2, which we talked about Borderlands last time. This was Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep, which is the Dungeons and Dragons. You're a character basically in the Dungeons and Dragons, working your way through orcs and skeleton warriors. And there's this fight at the end with Handsome Jack is the bad guy in the original Borderlands 2. He comes back as a sorcerer, but then there's this fight we just did today, which had 5 of these dragons fighting at the same time. That's difficult. So that has been tremendous fun, just for the different location, the different kind of enemies and everything else it throws at you. And the last one is Link's Awakening I've started. So I'm starting my playthrough of that and recording it as well as I'm going. I've only put an hour into it, and already when you come to a screen that, you know, it's like it feels like a big open world, you know. It doesn't feel like the old kind of a Game Boy game where every screen was segmented and then you walked to the edge of a screen and then loaded in the new screen. But there are parts in it, especially like when you're dropping down to the beach, then the screen kind of scrolls with it in that kind of old-fashioned style. The frame rate when it does that. And it's nearly every time. The frame rate kind of holds up when you're within a loaded area, so far, in this first area. There's a lot of grass and stuff to chop down and nothing. But as soon as you go into one of those areas where the screen has to scroll to load in a new area, the frame rate takes a hit. And it's quite jarring for a game that's isometric and top-down. And it only lasts for a little while. I'm sure there's areas that will be more taxing later on. It'll be worse. But it's like, why isn't this running smoothly? But then again, for my first hour, I've gone into the crane game and I've maxed the crane game out. I've got the secret seashell from there. You know, I've farmed rupees, and I've got the, what else can you get in the crane game? The Yoshi doll. So I've started that side quest. I remember giving the Yoshi doll to the mother. The mother then gives me the ribbon. I give that. I know exactly where from my many times through the game before on the Game Boy itself. I can't quite remember where to put the bananas yet, though, so I'm sure that'll come back to me eventually. So I'm just made my way, I will make my way on episode 2 when I record it, into Tail Cave, which is the first dungeon. So I'm still looking forward to it. It's the aesthetic of the game is fantastic. And that's it. Yeah, that's it. That's what I've been playing. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and give us a like if you've enjoyed our content. You can also check out our other great content on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and the N-E Café podcast from all good podcast providers. Just follow the links in the description below.